when these kids or young adults leave school at 21, there's no resources. They go from having daily programming 5 days a week via school to not a lot. And Mona, I met when she was working as a special education teacher at Grant County. My son, my middle son, who's now 21, was a student of hers. So we actually met in a parent-teacher role, um, and she was very good with my son. So that's my 21-year-old son. The son that has intellectual disabilities just turned 16. Mona's going to employ him. See, for me, work is not always about the money. For people with disabilities, the opportunities to work are few and far between. And so for me, my son is gaining all other benefits from working, self-esteem issues, feeling proud, things like that. The money can't buy, but in the interim, he's also earning a little bit of money. Because for my son at 16, all I'm looking for him to do is work 2 hours a week at the ice cream shop. And that's sufficient. And that's more than I think gainful employment in this area would be able to provide him because of the needs that he has and the structure that he'll need. Because I know he's going to work with Mona, that people with disabilities, regardless of disability, should be able to work. So I came into this situation with Mona and her Dreams Project, truly believing that work is a quality of life issue and only benefits those individuals who have the opportunity for employment, whether it be in a volunteer position or paid employment. I'm a social person, so I was like, why not? Although I'll be honest, I never played bingo a day in my life until I started running this group, and come to find out, they love dances and they love some bingo. We're really focusing on demonstrating and modeling really good boundaries, things that are going to serve them well in the community. And then you've met Patrice Tucker, because Patrice is such an artist. She has such an artistic flair about her. I'm going to hand the group over to her. I'm going to provide, which I think is a beautiful way to kind of start leading the group, more participant ownership. We'll provide the supplies, and she'll provide the sample and the instruction to her own crowd. And I think also, because I just had a birthday party for my son, and she did really well with face painting, and I know the participants would love face painting just because. So I think I'm going to have her practice her face painting skills too. And I think that'll be a fun group. Beverly with Special Olympics, which I don't know how she does all she does. Mona with the Dreams Project. I honestly think that what Rochelle and Mona are doing is absolutely fabulous. And it comes from a heart of serving and wanting to empower individuals with disabilities. I can just talk about my little boy, Jacob. Jacob hasn't stopped smiling. He hasn't stopped grinning. He is just so proud of himself. He is excited to see his name on a paycheck, right? And that doesn't matter if it's $20 or $200. It's giving him a sense of worth, a sense of pride, you know, and I would even say a sense of hope that he can be part of mainstream society, right? What I appreciate about Mona's approach, where it's finding a job, finding a task that can be tailored to the individual's need. So if I say anything about dreams, it is that underlying mission that people that are differently abled are going to be able to come to a place, and tasks can be modified to meet their needs, to give them self-worth, self-esteem, learning time management, learning patience, learning how to follow direction, and maybe even learning how to deal with conflict. What I appreciate about them, see, because you have to have the energy for it, meaning the heart for it. You have to have the want to be patient, the want to, well, if they can't distinguish this color correctly, well, then maybe they can read that this is blue and this is green. The setup is lovely, so environmentally, it's lovely. The vibe is also very friendly, very open, and I know with summer coming, it's incredibly busy, and, like, for a kid like my Jacob, because we speak a lot about intellectual disabilities, right? But what will cripple him and why it's good that she's allowed him to volunteer for, like, 6 weeks before he even turned, 16 is that anxiety. And that too is what gainful employers will not be able to tolerate. You understand what I'm saying? If somebody goes into a panic attack or is frozen for a minute or two because they're just so anxious, because I'm assuming crowds are crowds, you know? Mona does a lot of heavy lifting with these young people. And the ice cream shop is just wonderful. Even to reach out to Patrice and fuel the flame of something that she's good at and make it into an opportunity, then I get word of it, right? And I say to my friend Lola, "Well, what can I do to keep
Yeah.
this going for her?" And here we are. Yeah, I think it's all good stuff, and I'm pretty proud of Mona, and anything I can do to help Mona, I do.
Mona was introduced to me several years ago. She was actually a teacher for my daughter, Natasha. I know there had actually been conversations between me and Mona on like when she ages out of school, uh, that there was nothing in this county for her to do once school was over. And that is evidently, I thought I was the only one, but that is actually a problem for multiple families in this county, and even surrounding areas has got the same issue. There ain't nothing for these kids to do once they age out of school. And my daughter looked forward every day to getting up and going to school. And with her disability, she's not able to go and work per se a job. But I have seen the fact that Mona, with her abilities with children like my daughter, has been able to assist her in sweeping and cleaning and stuff like that, but she has to be assisted and kept an eye on at all times,
Mhm.
and that is just something that the ice cream shop with Rochelle and Mona has been able to offer for her. It's only 1 day a week, but it gives her something to look forward to every week. There's definitely a confidence factor that something like that gives to these children because they're going out and they're working a job. I
Mhm.
mean, and they've probably been told that they could never do that, a conventional job like people do every day. And I think, she can't really communicate the fact that it makes her feel good about herself, but you see a bigger smile, it seems
Yeah.
like to me, and that Mona just has that talent with kids. She really
Yes.
does. There was a time there before Rochelle and Mona opened up.
Mm.
It was pretty bad. I don't know if how often you've been to the ice cream shop. And
Yeah.
it's got kind of that old school ice cream shop
Mhm.
feel to it. And they have a little record player sitting there playing this old music. And I don't know about you if you've heard that music, but I don't know how in the world someone could dance to it. But I have a daughter that does. And, that has really got to be something good for her if she's able to start cutting a jig to that music that they're playing up there. My goal was to have something in place for her once she graduated school for at least a few days out of the week.
Mhm.
I haven't been able to get all that plugged in, but this has definitely been a step in the right direction. Because like I said, I did not want to see her just basically sitting in a house all day riding the couch. They
Right.
they all deserve better than that. They really
Mhm.
do. And if nothing else, just to be able to get out and socialize is important for these kids. This county doesn't really have a lot of that for these kids. And it's time we change that. If nothing else, just to show them that, hey, we care for you and we want to see more of this. And I don't see how it's anything but a step in the right direction to get this whole project up and fully going the way Mona has envisioned it and laid it out to me. When Mona first laid this out to me, I was scratching my head probably like you did, and now that I've seen my daughter up there helping out at that shop, you like, "Okay, this definitely makes sense."
Mhm.
Stop in there and get an ice cream and see what these kids are doing. You're gonna see they're loving it. They
Yeah.
love being able to help the customers. They love the fact that they're up there working a job, and it just you see them glow. They all do. They love it.
Mhm.
The whole premise behind what Mona is trying to do, it is much needed. I mean, me being a father of a special needs child did not realize how many of them kids there are in this area,
Mhm.
and even when I go to flog and I can dance in front of everybody, there's still a lot of kids that don't even show up to that all the time, and the scope of this is way bigger than people realize until they actually come to some of these events and meet these kids that you just there's no way you can put a number to it. There's so many people that need this.
Mona and I have been friends through the years, and about 3 years ago, she told me about her dream project and explained it all to me, and I was very, very excited about it. I work with one autistic girl who's about maybe 2 years out of high school, and what I do is help her to do some cleanup work around the store. We sweep the floor. We'll wash windows. We'll turn on the lights when we first walk in. Mona picks her up. Mona also picks me up at my house. And um, last year, we made candy. So we've done several things together. And I think that I've helped this young lady with some of her special needs. Some of the funny things that we do is we both love to sing and we both love to dance around the shop. And we have to watch it that we don't get too carried away. But I dearly love this girl. And when I go there for my hour, hour and a half, I have so much fun and it really puts a big light in my whole week. So I'd love to be there 2 or 3 days a week when Mona has her different people there. These these people really, really make me feel really good. For the first time, some of these younger adults have the chance to do something that makes them feel good about themselves and respected, needed. This has been her big dream is, "Hey, once these people leave high school, what have they got to do?" And, uh, to keep them from just being at home or not having much to do, um, this is a great, uh, thing for them to have, to just feel like they're part of society and their family too, to know that, "Hey, my child can do a lot of things." And we need to see more things where handicapped people, whether they be autistic, physically, mentally, there's so much that they can do
Mhm.
that needs to be realized.
I've always liked, Mona's drive. She's gonna meet that individual where they're at,
Right.
or, what they're capable of. She's going to make sure that if she doesn't currently have a job for them or a task for them, she's going to find one. She will change the job around
Yeah.
to make the tasks doable for each individual that
Right.
needs to do that.
Sometimes it does take some doing
Mhm.
and just learning about that individual and what works best for them. Just like teaching school, you find out some specific things about that one individual that works best for them. So thankful that there is there is a better place and better hope for them.
Hi, my name is Lola, and I am grandmother to Patrice, who works for Rochelle at the Kentucky Icebox, which is a small part of Dream. at the moment, hoping to get bigger, but it is employing kids with special needs, kids, adults, the whole range of it. Doesn't matter whether it's mental or physical. If Mona can find a place, then she'll get you in there.
Hello, I am Patrice.
She likes to draw. She does anime. That's her favorite thing
Okay.
to do in the world.
Yeah.
But Rochelle offered her the opportunity to expand and teach an art class at the shop and picked tulips of all things, which of course Patrice had never painted a flower in her life. But she did it. She taught the class, and as far as I'm concerned, the class went great. Instead of standing in front of the class, she walked around and went
Okay.
from person to person and offered individual help.
I like showing them.
And that way she
Absolutely.
didn't have to make any speeches, because I would faint and fall on the ground if I had to make a speech.
I was very quiet at first, but now, like friends, like best friends and everything.
How long have you been working at the ice cream shop?
This is my 3rd year there now.
When she started working there, it didn't take very long for me to realize that they were making a niche for her.
Mm-hmm.
They were making her comfortable. In the past, when Patrice doesn't catch on maybe as quickly as someone else, there has been, words said or it's a little bit of bullying. And none of that has ever gone on with Mona or Rochelle. They're open, they're honest, and they teach right off
Mhm.
the bat. It's not like, hey, come on in and I want you to do this, this, and this. It's no, let me show you. Let's make sure you know how to do it. And when she walked out the first week with nothing but smiles and praise for these people, I was like, oh, I'm on board now. So it doesn't take much to get me on board, just to make my child happy, and I'm on board.
Do you
I
have-
am the one that scoops the ice cream.
They say she's the only one that could do a triple scoop.
Yep. I can say is you will meet new people. And you will make funny memories all the time. Also, you will always have a smile. Always have a smile. Like, it's always fun. You're never sad and everything. It's always upgoing and everything. It helps, like, people find themselves too. And
Mhm.
also, back then when I didn't have all of this, I was quiet, I was shy. I didn't know what I was doing, and they helped bring me out of my shell. And people out there can also help them get out of their shells and get out of the house and all of that stuff and everything.
Plus, not every disability can be seen. So a lot of kids that you don't see the disability, you're like, hi, how you doing? And then maybe they don't respond the way that you expect them to. And that puts a wall up automatically.
Mhm.
Dream is trying to tear those walls down so that people are seen for who they are, not their disability, whether it's the seen one or one that's right in your face. It doesn't matter. These are
Mhm.
walls that need to be torn down. There's no reason to be afraid to talk to like people like Patrice or anybody else. We're all in this world, and we're all the same, and we're all striving for the same thing, to be loved and to be happy. And the more people know about disabilities, the more that walls can come down. I don't think Patrice sees anybody differently. I think she just takes everybody at face value. She doesn't see any bad in people. Maybe we should all
Yeah.
be like that. It's not some far-fetched, ideal to help people in need.
Right.
And these kids are in need. And what do they need? They need socialization. What do they need? They need jobs.
Mhm.
They need to be able to stand on their own 2 feet if something happens to their caretaker. Not everybody wants to go, oh, let's just put them in group homes. No, we don't want to do that.
Right.
So I don't think it's much different than supporting your favorite charity.
And I think that's a very good way of putting it. I was happy.
Mona is a true believer in her dream, and Rochelle is a really fun person. I mean, she is just very sweet, but she's also fun, and we all need some fun in our life.
Yeah.
Once children turn a certain age,
Mhm.
services kind of stop
Mhm.
for a lot of kids. And we need to have services that aren't state-based or government-based for kids that are local to us.
Mhm. Community and
We
regional would
we're
be
a
perfect.
community,
Yeah.
yes, we're
Yeah.
all part of the same community. I don't care who you are, what job you have, whether you have a disability or not. We are all part of the same community.
Mhm.
And Dream wants to be a part of this community, and I think we should welcome them as best as we can with open arms, because there are more kids out there with disabilities than even I knew about until I started getting involved. Beverly Bass, who does the Grant County Special
Mhm.
Olympics, told us one day that about a pageant that is for just kids with special needs called One Special Day. And we didn't know anything about pageants, what to wear or nothing. And she had blue in her hair and
Yeah, I had blue hair dye.
she had blue hair. And so we said, well, do you want to do it? And she's like, yeah, because she watches it on TV.
Mm.
Yes.
So she did that. And then she did another One Special Day. And then she got brave and tried for Marigold, and which was last year. And she got Marigold Star. And Star is the division for special needs kids. It doesn't matter age or whatever. It's Star.
Mhm.
So she's a star, Marigold. But because of going to the One Special Day, that actually qualified those kids to go to Star for state. And that is one heck of an experience. And that's really where she caught the bug. She caught the pageant bug, and I'm just along for the ride.
Mona and Michelle and Paralympics and Lisa taught me, you can do it.
Mhm.
Go for it.